This morning, we're going to hear a passage, a parable. It's kind of sometimes called the 10 virgins or the 10 bridesmaids. I have never preached on this scripture before. It doesn't come up in the lectionary like every 3 years. And I looked in my old Bibles, and I can tell I don't have it marked up. I've never preached it. So when and partially because it's kind of a negative word. So when there is that situation, I'm always trying to find where's a way into it. And there's a woman, some of you know Amy Jill Levine, who's a Jewish scholar who teaches New Testament at Vanderbilt, or did. She had a feminist companion to Matthew, and there's a wonderful piece in there on this passage by a woman named Marie Eloise Rosenblatt, where she kind of invites us to imagine this parable in a really different way. And there's also Thomas Merton, the late monk, wrote a poem about it where he kind of re-envisioned this. And in his poem kind of reminds us that maybe the original parable was much more positive. And he wrote it in French, but the interpretation, the 5 virgins. There were 5 virgins, rowdies, who arrived for the wedding of the Lamb, with their motor scooters burned out and their gas tanks empty. But since they knew how to dance, they were told to stick around anyhow. So that's it. There were 5 rowdy virgins without gas, but really caught up in the action. There were 10 virgins at the wedding of the Lamb. So it's kind of a creative imagining, but when I'm trying to work on a scripture that I've never used before, it's helpful for me to find poets and artists and see how it's been typically interpreted. So again, this scripture, this parable that only Matthew tells, which makes it again kind of harder to figure out what's going on here. Then the kingdom of heaven will be like this. 10 bridesmaids took their lamps and went to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. When the foolish took their lamps, they took no oil with them, but the wise took flasks of oil with their lamps. As the bridegroom was delayed, all of them became drowsy and slept. But at midnight there was a shout, "Look, here's the bridegroom, come out to meet him." Then all those bridesmaids got up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out." But the wise replied, "No, there will not be enough for you and for us. You had better go to the dealers and buy some for yourselves." And while they went to buy it, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went with him into the wedding banquet, and the door was shut. Later the other bridesmaids came also, saying, "Lord, Lord, open to us." But he replied, "Truly I tell you, I do not know you. Keep awake, therefore, for you know neither the day nor the hour."